request, but I'm going to carry on. I've had a request from two lovely people in Ireland, not lovely, and they were in from... Christ, you wouldn't have thought that new bread would have done that. Good God. A lot of dampness to that one. Don't turn the bloody handles, you shithead. You've turned the bloody handles. What a bastard. What a funny way to give your notice in. That'll sound all the bollocks now. He's a twat, he is. He came home and caught his father and mother in the bed, and he turned ghastly, and his father threw a towel. He said, "Get out, you bastard," he said, and he laughed at Sean. Well, that night, his father caught Sean shagging his grandmother. And his father went berserk, and Sean said, "It's not so funny when it's your mother, is it?" This will sound all the bollocks now. Listen to that. That's because you turn the pissing handles. You listen to that, Sean. That's because you turn the bloody handles. If you never turn the pissing handles, that's to make me look stupid in pool like the rest of them.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to tell you about my poor auntie. She was in the desert with two nuns, doing their goodwill in other parts of the world. They got in the middle of the desert, my auntie and the two nuns, and the Land Rover broke down in the blistering heat. And there she stayed for a month with two nuns. They had dried right out. They hadn't drunk for a month. They hadn't pissed for a fortnight. And one of them said, "We're surely going to perish." She said, "I'm not hungry. My ass is snapping at the sand." And Auntie said, "Well, I've got a little bag of flour I've kept until this time. I don't think we'll be rescued, but we can make a loaf of bread. And what I'll do is I'll make a pit in the sand, and we'll put the flour in, and then perhaps one of us could pass a little drop of water, just enough to make a bit of dough, and we'll cook it on the bonnet of the Land Rover." Well, they put the flour in the hole in the sand, and she said, "Marguerite, can you pass a little drop of water?" And Margaret said, "I am pissed for a fortnight." She said, "We only want a skeet." Well, they lined Marguerite up over the flour, and she pulled her knickers up behind her ears, and she forced herself till the veins in her neck stuck out like ropes. She said, "Try with one leg in the air." Well, it wasn't the girl's fault. The girl had dried out. She said, "Suzanne, could you pass a little drop of water?" Well, she forced herself. She even tried with one eye closed. Well, Auntie said, "Well, we're surely going to die." And she said, "Well, I'll have to try." And well, see, my Auntie's a great big woman, and she pulled her drawers up behind her ears, and they couldn't tell to a foot where it's going to come from. So they made the pit a bit bigger to catch the splashes. Well, she knew she had to do something, else they're all going to perish. And bless her heart, what a brick she was, little gentlemen. She forced herself beyond where she should have done, and she overstretched herself, and she farted.
and she blowed all the flour right out the hole. And the other two pissed herself laughing. Years ago, I went to Bournemouth to the Bic, to a spiritualist meeting. There were 3,000 people there, and there was weirdos from all over the world. And a man got on stage. He said, "Is there anyone here tonight that have seen a ghost?" 2,500 people had seen a ghost. He said, "Is there anyone that has spoken to a ghost?" 15 had spoke to a ghost. He said, "Is there anyone here tonight that has made love to a ghost?" Only Denzel. I said, "You've not made love to a ghost?" And this man called him up on stage. He said, "I've never met a man in my life that have experienced what you have. And you can tell me here in Bournemouth, in front of 3,000 people, you've actually made love to a ghost." Denzel said, "I'm sorry." He said, "I was sitting right in the back and I thought you said a goat." He was in the disco talking to two girls, and she said, "If I was you, Denzel, I'd go and talk to somebody else." She said, "Because we're lesbians." He said, "Which part of Lesbiania are from?" No, she said, "We're lesbians." She said, "You see that girl with the miniskirt? I like to work her knickers off and kiss her fanny." Christ. Denzel said, "I think I'm a lesbian as well." But I came up today by train and there was two poofters in my compartment. I can't understand where all them poofters come from. I mean, it was Adam and Eve, not Adam and Steve, wasn't it? And I said, "Excuse me, boys." I said, "We'll have no turd burgling here." And I said, "If you want to go turd burgling, go up the toilet, you filthy bastards," I said. He said, "You haven't got a bit of Vaseline or a bit of Swarfiga to loosen his arsehole." I said, "Filthy bastards." His friend said, "Don't involve him." He said, "I got some sandwiches." He said, "We'll scrape the butter out the sandwiches." And they throw all the ham and bread on the floor, and they scrape up all the butter from the sandwiches, and off the buggers took. I thought, so I'm going to have a look and see what them filthy buggers are doing. But I gotta say, when I looked in, I seen the funniest thing I've seen for years. One was bent over with his trousers around his ankles, and the other one was on his hands and knees, blowing up his arsehole. I said, "Why are you blowing up that man's arsehole?" He said, "Some bastard have put mustard in these blankets."